they both have the functionality that if there are multiple speakers in the recording, it will pick up that voice recognition and it will separate it into speaker 1, speaker 2, speaker 3, which is really cool software in my opinion.
Welcome to the Soundboard with Tofe podcast. To the industry leaders and forward-thinking companies, this is your resource to become a better podcaster. You'll be taken on a journey to learn tips and tricks around podcast strategy, editing, and curation. And here's your host, Tofe Evans.
Hello and welcome to the Soundboard with Tofe podcast. I'm your host, Tofe Evans, and welcome to episode 24. With today's episode, I'm going to be talking about how you can repurpose your podcast episodes into another medium, and that medium is articles or blogs. Reason being, a lot of the clients I work with, whether they're companies or if they're subject matter experts, so individuals, majority of the time they have a blog or an article format on their website. Or they may use Substack or Medium, more of the other more advanced kind of tools. And that was their main form of putting out their wisdom, their experiences out, and they would write it out and give it to the world that way, put it out on social media that way. And that's all well and good. And that's all well and good, and I still recommend having that. And now they've transferred over to podcast land, because it's easier to talk about their learnings and their experiences via their voice. And people are more inclined to connect with that person because their personality is shining through that way. Whereas an article can feel a little bit two-dimensional. So one way you can use your podcasts and turn them into blogs is getting them transcribed. And I'm going to recommend two types of web apps. They're very easy applications to use. One is called Otter.ai and the other one is called Sonix. They do the same thing and they both have free trials. So all you need to do is drag and drop your recording into there, and depending on how long your recording is, it will automatically transcribe from speech to text. When that's done, you can update any sort of grammatical errors. They will also pick up on that. And as well, I think they both have the functionality that if there are multiple speakers in the recording, it will pick up that voice recognition and it will separate it into speaker 1, speaker 2, speaker 3, which is really cool software in my opinion. From there, you can copy and paste all the wording and put it into a Word doc. You can actually take parts of it, you can take all of it if you really want, and turn it into captions. So if you're curating any videos, so you have automated subtitles and captions for your videos. But we'll save that for another episode on how to curate into videos. But the beautiful thing is having these transcribed. It's something that I've learned from Gary Vaynerchuk, where we have one piece of content and how do we repurpose it? Because that is the beauty of having good content and having qualitative content and testing things that we like and what we don't like and seeing what works and what doesn't work. And this is stuff that we can offload to other people and say, look, I've just done the recording. I'm going to pay you to do the transcribe. Here it is. Can you please fix it up, tweak it, turn it into something that's a little bit more packaged? But I do recommend going down this route, especially if you do have that blog functionality on your website. Or maybe you want to summate the podcast episode into 3 key takeaways, hypothetically. Chuck that on Substack, chuck that on Medium if you like, if you don't have the website functionality, and you can redirect people to listen to that episode and then linking it to the podcast. So that's another way that you can get other listeners as a byproduct to listen to the full episode, because if they're more of a reader type, and some people still don't know what podcasts are, believe it or not, they might find your key takeaways really valuable and then find this out through there. And that's something I've noticed as well. So I'm going to wrap the episode up there. Hope you enjoyed it. Please share it around if you got some value from this. And if you do end up trying this method, please reach out to me. I'd love to see how you've been able to repurpose your podcast episodes into blogs and articles. What I will also do is put the links to Otter.ai and Sonix in the show notes so you can check them out for yourself. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the episode, and I will see you in the next episode next week.
Thank you for listening, and for more information about Soundboard services, please check out the show notes. Lastly, Soundboard acknowledges the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today, paying respects to elders past, present, and emerging.